So in today's video, we're going to go over just how broken waterbending actually is.
Yep.
And this includes some history, some lore, some of their abilities, some little matchups. Let's jump
Yes.
right into it. So, waterbending is used by the people of the Northern Water Tribe, Southern Water Tribe, and the people who live in the Foggy Swamp. Um, and waterbending is extremely versatile and can be used almost anywhere, maybe minus in a desert.
Well,
But besides that,
I mean,
waterbending's pretty versatile.
even in the desert, there might be like moisture in the air or something. I don't really know where they draw the line on that, but
Yeah, it's kind of unclear, because remember Hama, who showed up in like season 3, episode 7? She was the puppet master lady.
oh, right.
You
Yeah,
know,
bloodbending.
she just kind of like pulled water out of nowhere and was like, yep, water.
Yep. Yep.
So not only can you do almost anything with waterbending, like Katara, when she was like 12, was like,
I mean, she was the only waterbender in her tribe when
yes,
she
she
was
was very, very, very good, but still, she was 12. But she
Right.
was making like spears, like giant like slides for her to run on, just like globs of water. Like she was kind of making anything you could think of out of water.
Yeah,
And those things were very deadly to healing
it helped
items.
that she lived in an ice village where water is everywhere.
Yes. So it's still not known who the original waterbenders were. Like, we know that for firebenders, it is the dragons, and for earthbenders, it's the badger moles,
Airbenders,
but
it's the sky bison.
the sky bison. But unless I'm forgetting something, we have yet to learn who the original waterbenders were. But so since waterbending is so versatile, it can be used in almost every situation. As long as you have water, and see that you can even generate water yourself through sweating and things like that. So there's almost never a situation where you won't have any water, and you can do so much with it that water bending is, in my opinion anyway, one of, if not the strongest type of bending overall.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about what a lot of people are going to think about when they think about water bending. Which is the main sub-bending type being blood bending. Alright, blood bending is busted. Blood bending is stupid. It's so good. You can control other people by manipulating the blood and water inside of them and move them around like a puppet. Really good.
Yeah, there's that one guy in the Legend of Korra who do it without what was the
Actually, there are multiple
blood.
guys. There was, for example, Amon, who, there's kind of some spoilers, but Amon could even take away someone's bending with his blood bending, which, don't know how that works, but hats off to Amon, and he didn't need the full moon. His father, whose name is escaping me, he could also bloodbend without the full moon, and he was even able to bloodbend adult Avatar Aang, which
the
that's
Avatar,
a feat and a half.
the master of 4 elements.
That's a feat and a half. So being able to bloodbend the fully trained prime Avatar just shows you how powerful bloodbending is. And that guy wasn't even the strongest waterbender in the world. We haven't even
Right.
gone to Katara and her bloodbending. Because when Katara was also a child, she was able to overpower Hama, who was a grown woman who had years and years of bloodbending, and Katara
Yeah, she was
was
the
even able to out-bloodbend her.
Hama was like probably one of the first people to discover bloodbending.
She was the creator of bloodbending.
Right.
So, and we also didn't bring up that the full moon makes your bending even stronger if you're a waterbender. So for people like Amon and his father who could bloodbend without the full moon, imagine them with the full moon. And then this isn't exactly bloodbending, but also shown by Hama. You can even take water and moisture out of other living things.
Right.
Like she was taking water out of trees and plants, so I guess you could steal the water from a person and kill them by just taking the water out of their body?
Theoretically, I guess, like, that hasn't
If
been...
I guess, I mean,
That hasn't been
I bet you,
confirmed either.
like,
Yeah.
Aang could do it. But probably a strong enough waterbender could definitely do that.
Right.
And that's just scratching the surface of waterbending. There's the spirit water that Katara had that brought Aang back from the dead.
Although, to be fair,
Like,
that spirit water doesn't have so much to do with waterbending as it is just
yes,
supernatural
it's spirit
forces.
water, but because you can heal with waterbending, if you have that spirit water, like, Aang was dead. Azula killed him. And Katara just brought him back to life with that. So, you can heal with waterbending. You can... What Katara did against Azula, she froze Azula in, like, a giant block of ice and then got herself out. You can make bubble helmets for people with out of water and oxygen.
Yeah, she used Appa to transport huge amounts of water to, you know, put out a wildfire.
Yeah. In the invasion of the Black Sun, they used waterbending to propel the submarines.
Right, yeah.
To
go faster.
Go anywhere.
Or, yeah,
and then bringing up you, who was one of the Foggy Swamp waterbenders, he controlled the water inside of plants. And so
he made a giant,
that on its own
is seaweed suit.
Yeah, he had a giant suit of plants, which on its own is pretty busted. Like, he, with that bending, was holding off and beating Sokka, who is a genius. But this is also pre-sword Sokka, so he's not as strong. Aang, well, Aang only had water and airbending, and Katara, and he was fighting all three of them and winning.
Right.
So,
and imagine if you were like just a little more powerful with plant bending, you could like bring down entire buildings and structures.
And you isn't even like a top tier waterbender, you know?
Right.
Like you is like an average strength waterbender. So plant bending in the hands of a master, like Master Paku, who taught Katara, would be insane. And he's not even the strongest waterbender we've seen.
You can control just armies of people, or just use plants to just annihilate and destroy things. And...
Yeah, because going back to Hama, she controlled not only Sokka, but also Aang at the same time.
Right.
Going against Katara.
And she was like pretty old, like she wasn't even...
Yeah, and Hama was an old woman, so Hama in her prime would probably a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And the one downside to bloodbending, this is my own headcanon, I personally believe that like your will is a part in bloodbending, because we saw that Katara was able to not just like beat Hama, but she was absolutely unfazed by Hama's bloodbending.
Right.
That might have been just because Katara is also a waterbender, so maybe she bloodbended herself. I don't know.
Right. In the final season, she found the man that killed her mother, she was so angry that she probably made her even more powerful than normal.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that willpower definitely plays a part in bloodbending. Because also we saw with Aang, full power Avatar Aang in The Legend of Korra, when he is fighting Amon's father, who I still don't remember his name. Aang was being bloodbended, then went into the Avatar state and just shrugged it off. So I don't know if to do that you need to have waterbending. Maybe that's it. Maybe you need to be able to waterbend to do that. But if not, then that's one downside. If it's even a downside to bloodbending, be someone with enough willpower could overpower it and just say no. But that's my personal headcanon. I don't know if that's true.
Right.
Something that kind of be confirmed.
And like with waterbending, you could just cause entire like civilizations to just die out from drought and dehydration and
Yeah. And also we've seen that waterbending stacks. So multiple waterbenders can all control the same thing, like what we saw with the submarines.
right.
Katara and the foggy swamp benders, they were all bending one thing of water. So with enough benders, theoretically, they could bend the ocean.
Right, yeah, they could cause
They could
mass
pick
flooding.
up the ocean. They could probably wipe out humanity. With enough waterbenders, you could pick up the ocean and just drop it on a continent. And
Right, I mean,
so,
all theoretical, of course.
yes,
No limitation.
entirely theoretical. I don't think there are enough waterbenders in the world to be able to do that, because
Waterbenders
there's a lot of water.
do seem to be the least amount of bending,
Yes,
of that type.
mainly because, or minus airbenders.
Right, of course, yeah.
Mainly because the Fire Nation, immediately after taking out the air nomads, they went for the water tribes.
Right. And
Captured and imprisoned all the waterbenders.
I just think to begin with, even before the Fire Nation,
So,
they were just small in numbers. But
yes, the water tribes were small tribes even before the Fire Nation attacked. And now we're gonna move on to just some more limitations and then some matchups in terms of waterbending. So, the few limitations that waterbending has is because waterbending relies on water. If you're in an area with limited to no water, you can't bend. And you can get around this by carrying water like Katara does. She carries her little flask of water.
yeah.
But with that like minimal amount of water, your bending abilities are severely cut down. Yes, you can't do as much. And yes, you can bloodbend, but for the most part, people need the full moon to bloodbend, except for like Amon, his father, and I'm guessing Katara. I'd probably say that full power prime Katara would probably bloodbend without the full moon.
Right, assuming,
Probably.
of course, she would be okay with blood being.
Assuming she's going to bloodbend when she said that she wouldn't. So that's also a thing. Like a lot of people probably don't
Right, they have
bloodbend
moral,
because
they have a conscience.
yeah, they have morals. Bloodbending is not
It's
pretty nice.
fairly negative.
It's not. It's very negative. So that's a limitation. Just because you need physical water, unlike let's say firebending or airbending, where you can do it at all times.
Well, except for
But
during the eclipse for firebenders.
or yes, yeah. But I'd say like waterbending definitely. I think waterbending probably beats every other type of bending. But just how versatile waterbending is, there's not really much you can do against a powerful waterbender when they have a lot of water around them.
Yeah.
And that's not even taking into account the full moon. The full moon puts waterbenders on a whole other tier from everybody else. But then also, there are eclipses. A lunar eclipse takes away all the power of a waterbender. So
yeah, that's definitely a huge weakness for.
yes, like what we saw when General Zhao attacked the Northern Water Tribe, they waited until there was a lunar eclipse and the waterbenders were all powerless. So
Right.
that's just obviously a huge limitation, just like firebenders. Um, but I think that's still, even with those limitations, waterbending is still strong enough to just blow those limitations out of the park. They're rarely relevant, because a resourceful waterbender can get water anywhere. Katara generated her own water by sweating. Hama pulled it out of the air. Um, Amon was able to waterbend without any water. Don't know how he did that, but he did. Um, we've yet to really see the extent of Korra's waterbending. She's mainly only used like basic waterbending. But I wouldn't be surprised if Korra has some crazy
Right.
waterbending hacks
She
up her
has
sleeve.
the knowledge of
All the
all the
avatars,
avatars, so she can.
including Aang,
Yeah,
who,
or one of the avatars who was born with waterbending. So.
yeah, I don't remember his name, but she's also, even without the avatar's knowledge, she is still the avatar, which still means that she has crazy bending skills. We just haven't seen the full extent of her bending, but she definitely will, in the future, probably get some really, really powerful water bending, maybe some sub bending. We've only really seen one type of sub bending for water bending, blood bending. There's been some other stuff,
I
but
like
that's mainly
plant
it.
bending.
Plant bending.
I would have to review, but I think that's only.
Yeah.
That's the only one I've seen. Right.
There's just like infinite possibilities with water bending.
Yep. So.
It's just.
In conclusion. Waterbending.
How broken is it?
Is extremely.
Pretty broken. Pretty broken.
Yep. So.
In my opinion, it's probably the strongest bending type.
In existence.
So, in existence.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Subscribe.
Comment any videos that you want in the comment section, and like and subscribe.
We'll see you
Bye.
later.